Hi, this is Christine again. Today we'll be talking about EDUCAUSE's formal list of concerns for the implementation, use, and maintenance of IT for the year 2024. I prefer to call them opportunities. As stated in the article, 2024 EDUCAUSE Top 10 Institutional Resilience, the 2024 EDUCAUSE Top 10 describes the contributions that technology, data, and the workforce will make to advance three dimensions of institutional resilience: mission resilience, operational resilience, and financial resilience. The backdrop of the role of IT in higher education is turmoil. Higher ed was forced to drop entrenched resistance to change during the pandemic of 2020, and the world hasn't returned to its previous state since. In addition, there are new cultural, political, climate, and health concerns that continue to impact student needs and their expectations for learning. Students demand a higher return on investment and increased flexibility of program length and offerings. The same goes for the workforce. In order to attract and maintain top talent, colleges have to pay more and be more flexible in their demands. Among other changes, institutional resilience is required, which is defined as the ability to anticipate, respond to, and adapt to rapidly changing circumstances in ways that maximize opportunities and minimize consequences of unforeseen events. EDUCAUSE's 2024 IT list helps answer the question: how can technology, data, and the workforce build resilience within institutions? These can develop the institution in three aspects, which we have mentioned: mission, operational, and financial resilience. Let's start by discussing mission resilience. Mission resilience addresses three topics from the top 10 list: the enrollment crisis, diving deep into data, and meeting students where they are. The higher ed mission can be described as one of education, research, and service. In this case, EDUCAUSE addresses the purpose of higher education to educate by focusing on how technology may be used to help meet students' expectations in more effective and comprehensive ways. Analytics must be leveraged to predict student behavior so that academic and other support services may be anticipated. The article addresses the need to find new markets of students, new modes of learning, and new integrated ways of supporting students through their entire journey. Technology may be used to ask what processes may be digitized to anticipate and meet students' needs. Students are expecting more and different interactions in their education, modeled by companies that anticipate their desires. What services may be increasingly mediated by technology, and how may processes be made um, smoother and more individualized? As stated in the top 10 article, students invest in higher education to achieve specific outcomes, and these expectations increasingly differ from traditional models. How does operational resilience strengthen an institution? Operational resilience addresses topics of cybersecurity as a core competency, driving to better decisions, hiring resilience, and adapting to the future. These topics concern decisions regarding assets, including data and the workforce. How is money spent and data leveraged to limit risk while making room for wise investments that will eventually prove cost effective? Cybersecurity is the number one item in the list of concerns because of the proliferation of data exposure and cyber threats that are costly both to an institution's pocketbook and reputation. It's just hard to keep ahead of the attacks. The need for intervention through accurate and timely data, as well as other structural protections, is immediate. Additionally, trust is demonstrated by institutions' prioritization of information security, a necessary component of the relationship between the institution and its constituents. Effective management of data can drive an institution to make better decisions for its long-term health. Data can be gathered and used collaboratively, not in silos, for increased effectiveness across many college departments. Data management and governance will result in additional tools to simplify work and improve outcomes with validity. As for hiring resilience, getting and keeping IT talent is difficult due to the lack of finances and abundant bureaucracy within institutions. Workers want more flexibility in their work life with manageable workloads. A final concern is the institution's ability to adapt to future changes. A culture of agility will help institutions become more responsive to change, to see challenges as opportunities, and be prepared for risk, failure, and tumultuous circumstances. Multiple governance structures, processes, and workflows must be prepared in advance to anticipate change for, quote, multiple possible futures. Technology plays a unique role in adaptability as both a solution and cause of change. Quote, technology leaders can help the institution better adapt to the future by cultivating institutional agility. Finally, let's consider the impact of financial decisions on the life and vision of an institution. Financial resilience addresses administrative cost reduction, financial keys to the future, and balancing budgets. Technology has a unique position, able to add efficiency and value to an institution by lowering administrative costs and increasing an institution's perspective on the risk reward of possible investments. Savings may be returned over the long term of an investment, and tech leaders can offer insight when making a long term investment judged against an initial cost. Administrative costs must come down. Money is not coming in from outside the institution due to public perception of inflated costs and the weight of student loan debt. Students are losing confidence in the value of higher education and are looking for shorter, more immediate training that will make them workforce ready. In short, college must become more affordable and beneficial. This translates to a need to cut costs. Technology may allow processes to be streamlined. Tech leaders may spearhead a vision for long term sustainability by making difficult trade offs in pursuit of more efficient systems while also recommending investments for the greater good of the institution. In this way, tech leaders provide vision that will sustain and grow the institution. Technology and data will be used to make the hard decisions as well as consolidate processes through automation. The biggest opportunity is for, quote, leading analytics initiatives that will develop dynamic financial models and projections. Financial models will address data management, reconciliation, and integration. Finally, tech leaders can help balance budgets by controlling IT costs and vendor management, and which costs are on the rise. Again, leaders must be available with the expertise to spot and champion an investment that will pay off in the long run, though it may be costly in the short term. Additionally, towards the effort of balancing the budget, partnerships with similar organizations and groups must be nurtured. It's time to apply what I've learned about EDUCAUSE's defined list of IT concerns for 2024 to my place of work, Delgado Community College, as I discuss key takeaways of this article. So, keeping the top 10 IT concerns or opportunities for growth in mind, what are the implications for my workplace, Delgado Community College? I feel like speaking on this issue is beating a dead horse. It's too bad that AI, friend or foe, was only an honorary member of the list, since I just left a meeting at Delgado where the English faculty discussed how woefully unprepared we are to address ChatGPT, or rather, the policing of its use among students, in particular with the effort to maintain the rigor of our assignments. I had trouble understanding my colleagues as they described tortuous means they took to segment writing assignments to force students into the several stages of writing project in an attempt to make them write themselves and not cut and paste a prompt into a large language model. Not many of these were feasible ideas for me since my classes are completely online. I can't sit students down to interview them to ensure the experiences they write about actually happen to them. I left feeling deflated, but also questioning why should I jump through all these hoops and care more about a writing project than the students enrolled in my class? If they don't care enough to write about their own experiences, there's not much I can do to make them care. I think what will eventually happen is that English composition in the traditional sense will fade away. Students need classes and assignments that are intuitive to their field. What they do now in our classes, in our English classes, must not feel authentic or relevant to them. I imagine in the future, composition will be modeled after their intended program of study, like a technical co-curricular that is realistic to the type of writing they will do, such as communication for nurses. What struck me about this meeting is that it was comprised of only 6 full-time faculty who had many years invested in teaching the way that they always had. And there was only myself and one other adjunct who were fairly new to the teaching process at the school. Personally, I'm designing my online class by myself from the ground up. The conversation devolved from possible solutions to ChatGPT use to how we may better police students, where more and more invasive measures were suggested to test the veracity of their experiences and what they and their writing samples. I refused these ideas. I noticed who wasn't at the table: a full chairperson, dean, and definitely not an IT leader, a member of the chancellor's cabinet, and or a vice president of academic affairs. It really wouldn't matter what consensus we came up with as instructors. There would be no institutional vision, governing framework, or systematic solution to the issues we discussed. Would I question whether there was even an awareness or acknowledgement on the level of the administrative team, higher ups, of the issues that we were facing. I doubt the connection will ever be made until there is some precipitous drop in enrollment or mass, quote, teach out type strike in response to the cheating crisis. As things stand, we're still piecemealing solutions, mostly for the sake of our own happiness and conscience. Thank you for listening to this presentation. I welcome your thoughts on any of the topics discussed here. Thank you.